towards himself today.
He was impulsive, yes. But to some extent, I can understand why he was the way he was. You know, Dunwar was one of those people who tried to gild their insecurity with boastful behavior. The reality is that he was the last of his bloodline, and his faith in the path and his destiny as a keeper were all that he had left. And who knows? Maybe he would have been a great help to the Order with the right guidance. But I guess Master Bartar's revelation was just too much for him. It's hard to be told that everything you've lived for was a lie.
It is of the right one.
Well, maybe I just don't show it as much.
Not shaking
But
to
yes,
there.
in a way, you're probably right. I suppose that's mainly due to the fact that to me, as opposed to Dunwar, the Order always stood for an idea. And an idea doesn't die with the one who first thought of it. Funny that the Grandmaster said nearly the same thing during the exaltation. Dunwar would have considered it blasphemy.
Rice points other thousands to check it to life. You're talking about? There's you're talking about not.
That's true. A lot of crimes were committed during the Lightborn's reign, and I don't want to minimize that.
전
But I
모르겠어요.
also think a lot of those
모르는
crimes
단어가
were
너무 많아.
unavoidable.
내가
so to
아직
speak.
영어를 마스터하지
Imagine you're the
않아가지고
king of a small island, and one day
아는
your realm
단어만
gets
이제
attacked by a fleet of Scarab
하는
Reavers.
느낌이라.
The invasion catches you completely off guard, and within a few hours, the Reavers have advanced to the farmland, just a few feet from your city's main gates. And before you know it, you have to make a decision. Will you use the time that remains to entrench your army within the city's walls to have a better chance of surviving a siege? Or do you send them into the field to fight the Reavers there, knowing that there is only a slight chance to save the farmers, but a big risk that you will lose both the city and the farmers?
A fight is outside. Not striving. It's primarily to die for me.
It would, yes. But what if your foray fails, and ends up being the reason why the Scarab can break through the city's fortifications? Wouldn't that too make you responsible for all the townsfolk they would kill once they got in? What I'm trying to say is, it doesn't matter what you do. There will be people who will despise you for your decision. If your attempt to rescue the farmers fails, you will be accused of having acted blindly and idealistically. And if you just stay in the city, they will say you didn't even try. Of course, there's a small chance the foray might work, but should decisions like that really be made as if they were a game of dice? As I said, I don't mean to absolve the Lightborn of their crimes, but I'd wager my left hand that they had a lot of similar decisions to make.
That's good things. You talk to this Dunwar. So say you told which.
I knew the question would come eventually. I suppose the answer depends on whether you're in the mood for some gloomy talk. Sooner or later, you'll hear it from someone else anyway, so why not from me first?
듣지도 않을. Don't talk about to asking. Talk.
As you wish. Where should I start? Maybe with the fact that I don't remember anything that happened before my 6th winter. I don't know where I was born, and I never got to know my parents.
You don't have a memory? How?
I wish I knew. What I do know, though, is that the
아직
first memory
폭행하는
I have
거구나.
is of
어허.
waking up in the middle of some village.
기억이 사라졌다.
It was dark, and I felt dizzy and, I don't know, empty? That's probably the best way to describe it. I eventually found the strength to get up and look around, and, well, that's when I realized what was actually going on around me.
What's talking about?
The entire village. It had been destroyed. There were corpses everywhere, Men, women, children, and the houses had been crushed as if some mad god had rampaged through the streets there. And it had all just happened hours before because the destruction was still fresh. Whatever it was, I didn't have much time to think about it. As soon as I got up, I saw 3 riders coming through the smoke. One of them got off his horse, ran towards one of the corpses, and started screaming something in my direction. Then I felt a blow on the back of my head, and I lost consciousness. By the name of Sam, it's strange to talk about it like this. It's been so long, but the memory feels as if it had happened yesterday.
Why there is the authentic you?
Well, it turned out the riders were hunters who had come from that village. They must have observed the whatever it was from the distance and ridden back to the village. At least I think that's how it went. I guess I'll never find out. The reason they thought I was somehow involved is that the village priest found me a couple of days before it happened near a shrine in the wilderness. Apparently, I was wearing torn clothing, and no matter what the apothecary tried, he couldn't wake me up from my comatose sleep. And it seems that made the writers think I was some kind of witch child. Unholy beast, whichever you prefer.
Really, so 6 years old kid destroyed destroy the village? Doesn't matter. No way. No way구나.
For you, maybe. For them, as simple people, it was probably the best explanation they had. And think about it, it's not that far off. A motherless child who neither talks nor breathes steadily is found abandoned on the roadside and has a strange mark on her face. They leave to go hunting, and when they come back, they find their village in ruins with that foundling child being the only survivor. You have to admit, it's not that much of a stretch, even if those men hadn't been superstitious farmers.
So, okay, so this guy's what you want? Revenge?
Probably. Truth be told, I try not to think about it too much. And actually, it doesn't matter, because I somehow managed to get away before they could do anything. I even made it to Ark all by myself, which didn't turn out to be much of an improvement in the end, because I was pathless.
You was taking his down city, right?
Yes. Thinking about it now, I actually wonder how I made it through my time down there. But maybe that's one of the advantages of being a child. You don't think.
얘는 왜 근데 영어로
Just
나와 있냐?
act. Still, the winters down there were cruel, and if Master Tyrus hadn't found and taken care of me, I probably wouldn't have made it through my second year.
You as teacher Charles? You is called the Guardians?
Yes, otherwise I would not be here. He saw me, and he knew what he had to do, is how he did it. Of course, the Order wasn't too happy about
아, 겁나 말 길어.
Just as some aren't happy
아,
about
스토리를
you.
한번 들어보자 하고
Tyrus
그랬는데
was
말
a
겁나
highly
기네.
regarded man, and that's why they
다음
let
회차
it
때는
slip.
스킵해버려야겠다 그냥. So he is 나 그냥 다음에 스킵해버려 그냥 빠르게 따다닥 눌러버리겠다. You is join us. Don't believe that.
It does, yes. But then he had lost both his wife and daughter 5 years before he found me. So maybe I was some kind of substitute. I don't know. But in the end, it doesn't matter. I owe him everything. He was a good man, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, this is a good point. Why is the lost guy to me? You mean other price?
That's right, we do. But we are both still pathless, and that disqualifies us according to the holy verses. I guess now you understand why I was never as connected to Malthus's teaching as Dunmore was. To some of the keepers, I am still an outcast. And no matter what I do,
내 옷이 겁나 이쁘다. Okay. Yes, Taurus, your teacher, and you're making. Yes, making.
Yes. And now I'm here. Well, here we've reached the end of my impressive tale. I hope you liked it.
It was just this village as Fisher daughter. Yes.
No, I guess I'm not.
So they took him downward. Destroy this village. Your fault. Then it's true.
He does, yes, and he's not alone in his opinion. One of those hunters recognized me in the market my first year as a novice, and you can imagine that it was easy pickings for those who were already against my presence in the order. From then on, they added names to the derogatory stares. Demon Child, Witch, whatever they could come up with.
So it's genius and it's so brain beautiful. Other guys is your price you believe price more.
Yes, maybe. You know what's funny? To some extent, I'm glad to be who I am. That way, people just leave me alone, and that gives me more time to focus on what's important, on my goals.
What goals?
Several, but I'd say that's enough of the gloomy stories, don't you think? There will be plenty of time for chatter in the future.
와, 이걸로 시간이 18분. Okay, talk later. I see as the
You should.
Yep.
It's already late, but if you want, I can show you the most important places in the temple before you go to the Emporium. What do you think?
Oh, sure.
Good. Then get your gear from the chest by your bed and we'll go. You should reclaim your gear before we leave. Yes?
가 빨리. 어이. 쟤 왜 근데 영어로 돼 있냐? 아까 한국어로 잘 돼 있더만. 버그네 버그요. 아휴.
Let's hope he knows what he's doing.
All right. This is the sanctum. It's a place of silence and prayer, and also where we'll be exalted later.
Thou art my light. my glimmer,
Bloody
and
weather.
Thy name is my sacrament. And thy paths I will
Wherever you
honor.
look.
여기가 성소다?
This
오케이.
accursed death.
다음. 여긴 알지. 내가 여기를 건너서 그 저 아저씨를 만나러 갔는데 얼굴 저거 픽스도 하겠습니다. 저게 그 바디 모드를 넣으면 얼굴이 깨지는 걸 내가 생각을 안 했어. 아, 넣을 거 겁나 많아. 아, 조금만 넣어야지 생각하고 있었는데 하나라 넣으면 수십 개가 생겨나네 모드를.
Okay, I think you've seen this place before. We call this part of the temple the Chronicum.
Chronicle.
In here is gathered the knowledge of the order, written down in books and parchments. Plus, all of the experiments and research on artifacts and magic is done here. So it's a place you'll probably see often in the near future. Ah, and just below the Chronicum is the temple smithy. You should go there if you need equipment. Over there, that's the scuola and the quarters.
야하.
The keepers and the novices live. There's also a
이거 나중에 남캐랑 하면은 둘이 그 잘 살고 잘 되는 그거 되려나? 몇 캐라서 안 될 수도 있거든요. 2회차가 기대되는 건데.
Already been to the Emporium, and I assume
Yep.
the Eye of the Gods as well. I suggest you speak to the Grandmaster as soon as you're ready to take the oath.
아, 이러면 시간 진짜 애매한데. 오케이. You what you do?
Prepare myself, probably. Now walk blessed. I will see you soon.
오케이. 일단은 얼굴 픽스 모드랑 저거랑 넣어야겠다. 제스파 어디 있는데? 제스파 어디 있는데? 시장에 있구나. 제스파! 어딘데? 여기 어딘데? 뭔가?
My name.
아, 여기구나. 아닌데? 외진 지구인데? 외진 지구가 맞나봐. 여기 아닌가? 아, 여기다. 아, 오케이. 아, 오케이. 아이, 비롤 하면 되지. 위험할 땐 언제나 뭐다? 리롤이다.
As I said, the offer
어디 있는데?
stands. Just think about it, okay?
Well, fashion is blessings.
아, 얘인가? 됐다. 아닌데?
Around here, are you? I know that accent.
제스파 어딨어? 미안해요. 어이구야.
As I said, the offer stands. Just think about it, okay?
2층에 있나?
I will. Take care.
여기 어디 있는데? 아, 여기구나. 아.
Hey, you came. Come on, take a seat. So, tell me, how are you holding up? It must have been quite the whirlwind. Yesterday, a refugee from another country, and now a prodigy with a magic great enough to impress old Bushybeard.
Oh, it's okay. Asking for you.
Well, that's
Look at
good to
me.
hear. I'm quite curious to see how things keep on with you. You're different. I noticed that the time we met. Anyhow, tell me, what do you make of this country now that you've had some time to look around? I figure it must be quite the change from Nerem.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes, you're right.
Shoot. Yeah, I can picture that.
Yes.
You know, this is exactly the reason why I love inns so much. The sky can rain fire out there. In here, you'll always meet laughter and good humor. Not to mention all the good-looking men and women.
Yeah, it's cool.
Absolutely. Though I think I've seen enough of this place by now. Of Enderall, I mean. There's a ship sailing for Calais next morning, and as it seems, it will be the last one for quite some time to come. Who knows? Maybe
빠르게
it's still
이해하고
a spin-off of
끝내야겠다.
a handsome treasure hunter.
What? Really? What? This is these things?
Oh well. This entire thing was more
아, 왜 이렇게 잘 춰? 저기 왼쪽에 시강이네. 춤추는 사람. 춤 멈췄다. 아, 춤 잘 추고 있었는데. 춤춘다. 와, 개 잘 춰.
Heck, me as an ambassador of the Holy Order, could you imagine that? Not one step further, O fair maiden. Drop your garments so we may both bathe in Malphas's holy light. Actually not that bad, don't you think?
다 얼굴이 다 저렇게 됐네. Yes, I seem too.
Oh, you're too kind. But you know, at the end of the day, I guess I'd probably lack both the pathos and the idealism for such a profession. You know,
여자 구애하고
I'm
있다
aware
저기서.
of how these esteemed keepers up there talk about sellswords like me.
아, 여자 싫어하네. 도망가네. 춤이 마음에 안. 가운데 있는데. 오, 마음에 들었나? 아, 도망가네. 구애 실패.
If only they'd understand that it's results that matter, not
춤은
intentions.
시강인데 여자가 싫어하는 춤이었네.
Nothing is of less importance to the saved than the reason for their rescue. The only difference between a mercenary like me and a holy warden is that I'm at least aware of the fact that I do what I do for myself and no one else.
뭐하러 저렇게 와봐.
I'm trying to say that all those heroes and self-declared messiahs are no better than everyone else. In the end, we are all selfish because we always act in accordance to what we think we have to be like.
아, 또 말 길다. 또 잘못 선택했다. 내가 중간에 자르면 되겠다.
But at the end of the day, he does it because he sees himself in a certain light. You know, the funny thing is that a lot of times, it's especially those who think of themselves driven by a higher purpose who are the really dangerous ones. They don't understand what drives them, and that makes them easy to manipulate. The only thing left to do for the capable hate monger or tyrant is to somehow combine his own ambitions with the mental image of this person. And presto, you've got your perfect puppet, only waiting to dive into the next hail of arrows for their honor, their religion, or whatever they thought of this time. It's just so idiotic, you know? The world would be a much better place if everyone could just acknowledge that the only reason we're here is that we want to be happy.
Yep. I access too.
You do? And here I thought I'd get an indignant cry and a splash of wine thrown in my face. That's how most people react. In any case, I think I'll take my leave now. I very much enjoyed our talk, but the ship to Kilé leaves before the first cocks crow tomorrow, and I want some more time to think about it.
Okay. Okay. See you later.
Keep your chin up.
Potatoes gone.
아, 여기서 이제 조금 더 하면은 구할 수 있고, 근데 굳이 난 동료가 필요 없지 않아. 이번에는 동료가 필요하지 않아서 나중에 저 여자 데려갈 거라 일단 오늘은 여기까지 하도록 하겠습니다. 자, 녹화 종료.